So today in this video I am going to discuss synchronous motor related problem. Both type of motors will be considered: cylindrical rotor synchronous motor as well as salient pole rotor synchronous motor. And to be very obvious, this video will also be an optional video. If you want, you can watch this. If you want, you may discard it or skip it, or watch a selective problem if you want. So let's get started with this one. This problem: 100 horsepower, 400 volt, 3 phase star connected synchronous motor has a resistance and leakage reactance per phase of 0.04 ohm and 0.4 ohm respectively. We have to calculate for full load 0.8 power factor leading, the open circuit EMF per phase and mechanical power developed. In addition, we have to assume an efficiency of 92%. So how should we proceed? Basically, power input first we have to calculate. So power input will be how much? Power input will be this is actually a style of writing proper representing the motor data. Motor output is always mechanical output, so it is always preferable that you go for horsepower representation rather than a kilowatt or watt representation. Do remember, watt or kilowatt is we particularly use this kind of representation for electrical quantity, electrical power, electrical output. So for generator, if you want to express its output, then go for kilowatt. But for motor, if you want to represent its output, go for HP. So power output will be how much? It is what about our phase current? Phase current I will be terminal voltage or phase voltage, better to write, now what we know that since it is a motor, so for motor what is governing equation? This is same for DC motor as well as for synchronous motor. The current is, for motor, current is flowing into the motor, like from outside or from the power line into the machine. And for generator, it is moving outward of the machine. So when it is moving into the machine, then always you have to subtract the armature series. For DC it is series armature resistance, for AC it is armature series impedance from the terminal voltage to get your back EMF or induced voltage, whatever you want to call it. In terms of motor, it's DC motor, it's back EMF, or here it is induced EMF. Now one question that may comes in your mind is that whether we can call this E naught as back EMF, or this is it will be reasonable to say that this is our induced EMF. Anyway, here one thing we can further write that it is like okay, sorry, here it is mentioned that power factor is leading. So, if power factor is leading, then it should be plus. Cos theta, if cos theta is 0.8, then corresponding value of sin theta should be. Now, R is how much? So total what you will have, correct? Now we have to find out the amount of mechanical power developed. This is a very tricky phase. Mechanical power developed means your two ways you can do. One is that if you are aware of mechanical losses, then you can add them with your shaft output power to figure out the mechanical power delivered, developed. Or else what you can do, you can just use a similar formula that is common to our DC machine case, like T omega is equal to EB into IA. For DC machine, what we used to wrote, EBIA is equal to T omega. This was our fundamental equation for DC machine, right? Now we will use similar kind of equation for our AC machine. What will be that equation? The mechanical power developed per phase Here kilowatt can be written, this is no way available power. This power is internal to your system, so we can write kilowatt here, no harm. So one thing that we can understand, that although E naught is means magnitude wise E naught for a leading load, magnitude wise your E naught is greater than magnitude of your terminal voltage, but still the loss is always unidirectional. Like loss is always getting subtracted from your input electrical power, and that gives you mechanical power developed. Whether E naught is greater than V, or E naught is smaller than V, or E naught is like E naught is less than V, greater than V, whatever be the value of E naught and V, it has nothing to do with that case. It is always the input minus losses gives you the mechanical power developed. Unlike DC machine, here in case of DC machine there was no scope of witnessing our effect of capacitive or inductive current. So what we used to get, that is like the equation of back EMF, what we try to model, that is like DC case, and that is why back EMF is always less than, the value of back EMF is always comparatively smaller than your terminal voltage. But in case of motor, it is always, synchronous motor, it is always greater than that of terminal voltage. I have consumed some time to draw that phasor diagram. What is here, it's very clear. Here actually 100 horsepower, 500 volt, 3-phase delta connected synchronous motor has impedance per phase 0.3 plus J3. The open circuit voltage is 600 volt. If the friction and core losses total is 1 kilowatt, calculate the line current and power factor at full load. Determine output power, line current, power factor, efficiency for maximum power output, maximum power input. What are the maximum and minimum allowable excitation at the full load? So how can we proceed? So from this kind of question, it is always good for you to draw the phasor diagram at the beginning, because it may happen that you have to refer the phasor diagram several times while writing your answer, or like writing equations. Okay. Before we start, let us write one important equation, important relevant equation, that is Pn is the amount of full load mechanical power developed is equal to 3V naught cos delta, cos gamma minus delta, where gamma is your machine armature circuit impedance angle, or also called internal angle, by Zs minus 3 E naught square by Zs cos gamma. Now at full load, the mechanical power developed is equal to how much? It's equal to So these losses typically these losses are typically your friction, like mechanical loss, and core losses. So what we are having here, it is now the terminal voltage per phase will be how much? The open circuit voltage per phase will be how much? The internal angle gamma is how much? Synchronous impedance Zs is equal to how much? The total output, the mechanical power developed 75.6 is equal to how much? Actually, what we are looking for, we are interested in finding out our power angle, that is delta. Here we are taking per phase value, that is why 3 is not multiplied anywhere. So this will result as our delta I must say this is a very kind of over optimistic like overrated value of delta. It is not possible for in reality to cross delta. We need 40 degree. Generally it is below 40 degree, well below 40 degree, but we can show that with practical consideration we can go at max 40 degree, not beyond that. So whatever be the consequences, we have to deal with that. But since stability is one of the prime concern for any interconnected system, we cannot go for a very high value of delta. So this we can write if we consider this phasor diagram, from this triangle or from this triangle, basically synchronous machine impedance triangle, what we can write, sorry, I made a mistake, like yes, this triangle V I Z S and E naught, and similarly here this side V, this side I Z S, this side E naught. See, the governing equation remains same for both the cases. What about the governing equation? It is always so. From this equation, if we solve, what we will get? So it will be something like 9.09 into 10 to the power 4. So if we do this, we will get, obviously we will not consider the negative sign, 301.5, that implies I is equal to roughly 100 ampere. Now, if I is 100 ampere, then our diagram of our this phasor diagram, what we can see that this E naught cos delta minus V is equal to what? What is this angle? This angle is how much? This is basically gamma, right? And what is this angle? This angle is theta. So what is angle between V and IZS phasor? That is gamma plus theta. So what we can write, that from this we can write using trigonometric identity minus IZS cos gamma plus theta is equal to our is equal to what we can write. How much is this angle? It is E naught minus E naught cos delta. Isn't so? So, if we put the values as per here the calculation presented, it will give us gamma plus theta is something like as per their calculation it will give 71.8 degree, which further implies theta is equal to because gamma is 84.3, so that is minus 12.5 degree. So what is power factor? Power factor is 0.97 lagging, right? So what was asked? Line current and power factor at full load. So line current is 100 ampere and power factor at full load is 0.97 leading. Now, when the maximum power output we can get, the idea of getting maximum power output is that if you see the equation, your PM is what 3V E naught by ZS, or magnitude ZS, whatever you want to write. And then here it comes cos of your gamma minus delta, right? And here you are having this one, like your sorry. Now, for a given machine, you have no control over gamma. Gamma is machine, its name is, that is why its name, internal angle. So, obviously, it is very much like an intrinsic property of your machine. Like once the machine is designed, it becomes an intrinsic, not property, rather characteristics of your machine. We cannot change it from outside. But what we can do is that we can change our delta accordingly. So delta, we will keep on changing delta to find out the value of delta, which yield like maximum maximum value. So when it can gives us maximum value, so for a given machine this part is constant, only part that could we can vary is making this is equal to 0. So that gives us maximum power transfer will take place, or maximum power, mechanical power will be developed when this is 0. Although I am telling you this is quite an infeasible solution in terms of real time application, or not real time, rather practical application. Real time and practical are two different things. So in terms of practical application, this is quite an utopic idea. Why so? Because how can you make this angle delta, what is your means, how can you make this delta large? If you want to make this delta large, like a natural value of delta is 0. That is when you are not putting any load on your machine, and almost it is rotating, your machine induced EMF is almost in phase with your terminal voltage. Only a slight means change is there, because some flow of current is going on, maybe it's totally collinear, because when it is totally means, if you consider the mechanical losses are 0, then you will find that delta is equal to 0 is perfectly okay. Just like an induction motor, when you consider there is no loss in induction machine, then the induction machine can operate with slip is equal to 0. But as soon as you will start introducing losses, or better to say not losses, but if we use the perfect term, that is retarding forces. Retarding forces is present on your rotor shaft, then induction motor cannot run with 0 slip because 0 slip causes 0 current through your armature, through your machine, and therefore no torque is being produced. Similarly, here in case of a synchronous machine, when it runs at steady state condition, that time if your machine doesn't need anything, doesn't have to overcome or counterbalance any retarding torque, then it doesn't need any current flowing through its winding. Try to understand that, because torque requirements become 0. Torque is only required in two conditions. One, when you have to counterbalance some existing torque. Two, when you want to accelerate. So when both of them are absent, then there is no requirement of any torque. So therefore, if you can somehow counterbalance the retarding torque by application of some outside forces, like although synchronous machine runs at synchronism, but still it has to overcome those outside forces. So if you can make sure that outside forces are not there, then you can have a perfect condition. The machine will be completely floating. There will be no current flowing through your armature winding, and your V and E will be collinear. There will be no drop, and delta will become perfectly 0. Now, when you gradually put some more load on your machine shaft, mechanical load you can start connecting with your machine shaft, what will happen? It will like keep on increasing loading on your machine, and the machine induced EMF will like it is how this works. Try to understand. Actually, it is works due to like a rubber band. Our magnetic lines of forces are like rubber band. A stretched rubber band, you can imagine a stretched rubber band, and then you are trying to just like pull the rubber band in your direction or in other direction, means you just try to deviate that rubber band from its normal position. What I am trying to say, Suppose you are having these 2 points between which you have a rubber band like this, and you are trying to pull it in this direction or either in this direction. So you are actually causing an elongation in that rubber band. And what that rubber band will try to do? The rubber band will try to restore its means natural condition when it can realize minimum length. That is how we can shoot arrow from an archer shoot arrow using a bow. So the same thing happens in case of a synchronous machine. When you put more load, like if you suppose using this rubber band you are trying to do some kind of catapult, or means trying to means make sure means try to throw something, right? Now using this rubber band, if you try to throw a light object, then a small deviation from, if we consider this like this condition, its neutral condition, you just need to do a small elongation of the rubber band is sufficient for you to throw that one. But if you put if you want to throw a catapult type of action you want to generate for a heavy object, then what is needed? You need to bend that rubber band to a great extent, otherwise you can get enough means thrust. The same thing happens in synchronous machine. When you put more load, actually it causes a more distortion in your magnetic lines, which are exactly means reminiscent of your rubber band. Magnetic lines, they are elastic in nature, and whenever you try to bend them, that is the very cause of generation of reluctance torque also. We know in case of synchronous machine, it there is some kind of storms or means. Okay, so what I was telling you, that when you put more load, what it does, it tries to create a means deviation of your means it tries to, there is normally how induction synchronous machine work, due to magnetic interlocking. Your field winding, it produces magnetic like magnetic lines of force, and your stator structure produces a rotating magnetic field. Now, due to the interlocking of these two, it produces a torque, means actual torque in your machine. Now, what happened that when your machine rotating torque like this takes place, like what to say, yeah, that your now your induced EMF, it's actually this one is something that is attached with your means you can consider the induced EMF E, that is rotating with your stator structure, sorry, rotor structure, right? And your that terminal voltage is governing the means don't develop this notion that these two are rotating at a two different phase. No, what is happening, like here, this is always connected. Whenever you pull it, bend it, this is always connected between the two sides. Only thing what you can do is that while you are pulling this rubber band in one direction just to generate force, is to deviate it from its neutral position. Same thing happens in your machine. In your machine, what happens, say this is your stator, it produces a rotating magnetic field, and here you are having another one, that is magnet, that is also rotating. It's like, try to understand in this way. So now both of them, the magnetic line is just like this. The rubber neutral position, they are rotating in line. Now when you try to generate more torque, what you need to do, or what you should do when you put load on your motor shaft, what happens? There is a slight change in its position, like this, and that causes what? So magnetic lines of force, now instead of they were moving to through a straight minimum reluctance path, now you are offering them more reluctance and also causing deviation from their structure. So what they will try to do, they will try to align this blue structure, which actually represents your rotor, with this rotating one, that is your stator magnetic field. So, and this angle is what? This is your delta, right? Now what happened means, or this angle is not exactly equal to delta, but it is means you can understand that this is quite like resembling delta, proportional to delta, because here those physical and electrical angles also should be considered. So but it is very easy to understand for us that if we put more load, that will increase delta. And what exactly, like for throwing a heavier object, we need to pull the rubber band to means we need to bend the rubber band, means pull the rubber band to a great extent so that we can generate a great force to throw that heavy object. Similarly here, you need a high value of delta just to drive that amount of torque, and once like just like this rubber band, if you pull it without any limit, then once after a certain time, what would happen? That this rubber band will just let me just tell you that the rubber band will beyond a certain point, I just forget the name of that, it will like it will be in two parts. That point, I just forget the technical term, beyond which the rubber band, the molecules will break and it will like anyway, so I hope you are getting my point. Now the same thing happens, and that is known as pull out torque. When delta value is so high that magnetic lines of force are not actually able to pull it back, or means exerting any kind of pull or torque on this shaft to make it aligned, and then your motor stall, or that is what is known as stall torque or pull out torque for asynchronous machine. Now here, but we are doing a mathematical problem, so we can go for any value of delta without any limit, and that allows us to make delta is equal to gamma, which is machine internal angle, and what we can figure out is that the maximum mechanical power developed will be how much? Correct. Now once you get that, the maximum this is power developed. Now you will get the maximum output power. So we need to subtract the constant losses from it. However, this is in mechanical term, so we must convert it back to HP. So it gives us now what we are looking for. We are looking for the value of current at which this takes place. So for the value of current at which it takes place is how much? So if we evaluate, we will find this is giving us so it is a very clear indication that what is happening, and you can check the numerical values by yourself because I am blindly copying from a book. So if there is any calculation mistake exists in that book, the result will be erroneous. So you can check it by yourself. Now coming to the interesting thing that here we are getting 142 ampere. However, if we go here, this is C. The full load rating of this machine is 100 horsepower. That means the machine at max can develop, sorry, not at max, rather without overheating, or this is the normal condition for this machine. Now we are working on this part. Now see, for the maximum power output gives us this maximum value of this is obviously the theoretical value of delta. Now beyond which, if we try to rotate or try to means put more load, because when we put more load, then like now the machine is producing 116.1 horsepower, right? So if we want more horsepower, and as this is a synchronous machine, this runs runs at a constant speed. So if we put more load, obviously it will generate more higher torque requirement, and higher torque requirement means higher the value of delta, and delta beyond this gamma value, like if you go, what would happen then, that it will exit the stability region, like the machine will come to rest, like the means rotating magnetic field will not be able to further drive that rotor. Now at this condition, with this elevated load, what is the value of our current? This is 142 ampere, right? Now, what is the value of our like angle? We need to find out the power factor. So if we calculate these results, from where we are getting this condition, the same way we are getting theta is equal to minus 30.7 degree. So now it indicates sorry. So our power factor has become 0.86 pf lagging, right? So another conclusion, during full load it was 0.97 lagging. Now for this is for full load. For maximum power, it has become 0.86 lagging. So can you suggest or what comes in your mind, like when we are putting more load on the machine shaft, then machine has started behaving like a more reactive circuit. Let me put two questions in a very unambiguous manner, like whether this is a universally observed fact, like for all synchronous motor, if we put more load on the motor shaft, then there is a deterioration of power factor. Question number one. Even we are not changing the field current. If yes, then obviously comes question number two, that what governs, or sorry, not governs, what causes this lagging nature of the current when we are putting more load on our machine. What actually causes this deterioration in our power factor when we put more load on our machine shaft? Does same thing happen for induction machine? Or what was the variation of induction machine with this load torque? I am giving you small hints so that you can just, because see, the philosophy is something very simple and something very uncomplicated and like a very what to say, a very, the core concept is not vast. It is very concise, very precise, very a very dense concept. But when we are applying on different context, like context of synchronous machine, context of induction machine, then it starts, we need to understand that how this same philosophy is becoming, means we can apply that philosophy here or we can apply that philosophy there. So that we need to figure out. Now go to the next section and we will learn something really very interesting in this while answering this question, when maximum power input could be consumed by our motor. Now starting from that same equation, that is 3V E naught Zs cos gamma minus delta what we can find that maximum, and what is your power input? This is our expression for power, mechanical power developed, right? Now power input, how can you find out the power input? What is actually your power input? Your power input is something, just a minute, let me write the equation correctly, otherwise I may mix up. So this is the expression of maximum power input. Now means not maximum power input, rather power input. So this gives us what? Please observe that when you will get maximum power, when your delta, again gamma is fixed, delta will become 180 minus gamma. That is something in absence of loss. What we observe that the gamma becomes exactly equal to 90 degree. Therefore, both PM becomes is equal to PE. However, that is not the case. In reality, this will become maximum when this holds good. Condition for maximum input. So, if we put that value of gamma, what we will get? We will get the delta for maximum power consumption, electric power consumption, delta should be 95 point how much? 7 degree. Very interesting observation, delta should be 95.7 degree. Now let us find out what is the value of PM. PM is something like you have to put the values, and if you calculate, you will find PM is 85.68 kilowatt. And what about your output power? Again, we need to subtract the constant losses. So P out will become, in horsepower I am writing directly, 113.5 horsepower, which is clearly higher than the normal rated condition of the machine. But try to understand that this is something less than that of your maximum output power. So what I am trying to say, during maximum output power you are getting 116.1 mechanical horsepower from your machine, mechanical shaft. So your output was considerably greater at that condition. Now if we compare, here we are getting somewhat some 3 horsepower we are not able to get from our output terminal. So that is very means alarming. But you are giving more and you are getting less. Then what does it indicate? The machine itself is dissipating a higher amount of power through its winding, isn't so? Like machine is consuming more power but delivering less. So what does it indicate? That machine itself consumes more power and dissipates it. And if you just consider it, then you will see that beyond this point what would happen, the rate at which machine will consume won't be able to dissipate in the same rate, and that would cause a huge problem. If we further create by means of some mechanism, if we create a situation where the machine consumes more power, actually it will not be able to deliver that amount of power to our output, and machine will fall out of synchronism. That is very interesting observation. My goal behind discussing all this is just to make you cognizant of all these facts that are there, not to show you the formulas that you can get from your normal book, because these are the problems, are more or less similar kind of problems, are available everywhere. Anyway, so for here what we will observe, that now the power factor, what would happen to our power factor? What is your take? Obviously power factor will be further means worsen in this condition, because here what is happening, that we are giving more, getting small, so that means there is something, the loss must go up. And how we can have a higher amount of loss when our power factor is not good? So what we will get here, that if we calculate, we will find our power factor to be, I am not doing the intermediate calculation, same thing you can do just to calculate the current here. You will find the value of current is something like 156.7 ampere, which is further like higher than that of your maximum output power current. It was and what are the corresponding power factor? Here if we calculate, we will get 0.79. Here if we calculate, we will get 0.86. Here if we calculate, we will get 0.97. So gradually, as we are trying to increase the loading, the machine is becoming and also here if we consider this case, now the machine delta has increased. Like we are putting so heavy load on machine shaft, machine is now like trying to find some kind of relief, and that is why it has no other choice than increasing delta value. But even increasing delta value here in this case of maximum consumption of electrical energy causes further means like uh, heat dissipation through armature winding or an elevated value of loss, rather than it is now the machine is incapable of converting the amount of energy it consumes from the source to its like output terminal. So that is very interesting and fascinating fact. So we should understand and think about that. Now like maximum and minimum excitation, we can find out using that relation. What I in that video I drew a few circle, and from that we can figure out we can get it from that relation. Here PD is equal to PM by 3 per phase mechanical power developed, and if you do this you will get the value of E naught is like this, gives you maximum and minimum excitation. So if you do it, you will find a value, and that would yield something like I'm blindly copying from the book, so I'm not sure about the correctness of the result. You may verify it. This is obviously per phase value. You can convert it in line value. So as you have decided, requested for short video, nearly 1 hour, not short, like a video that is more or less equal to 1 hour. So I just pause recording here, and in my next video I'll try to solve as many problems as I can in a span of nearly 1 hour. Okay.